Good morning everybody and welcome back to another Simply Made Saturday with me, Helen Armstrong from Panda Pop's Crafting Joyful Moments. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Cheshire in the United Kingdom, and I just thought I would share with you today some simple makes made with the stitched stocking, difficultly saying that, stitched stocking online exclusive stamp set and the paper pack as well. So I'll also show you something else that I've made with it, but let's quickly show you the paper pack. It is called a stitched season, and again this was an online exclusive, so you get 2 of each papers. These are rather gorgeous. If you love quilting or the quilting effect, this is definitely for you. I have to be honest with you, I bought it mainly for the background papers because I loved the background. This one just sang spring to me in summer, so I'm actually going to keep some of this for next year. Obviously screams Christmas, you can cut these out, obviously cut them out, but again I like that red background. Candy canes, all about the candy canes. This is the one that I've used for today's class. I've done some fussy cutting out, I've done some cutting out, yeah, so this is what we're using today, and that's the background of that one. So the colours that are in this set are, let me just go through it with you, cherry cobbler, old olive, peaceful pine, pecan pie, real red and secret sea. Okay, so I can put those to one side because we don't need them. What I played with yesterday, I don't know whether you can fully see it because it is rather large. I made a wreath out of the stockings. Now this set, this suite comes with dies, and these are the stitch stocking dies. So I used this one and this one to make my stockings, and then I used, let me just grab it. So I used some of these pictures that I cut out on my stockings just to make them pop a bit. And I've used some different, can't even think of the word. Sticky bits, elements to put on. Yeah, so a little bit of extra to put on. Yeah, brain is not working this morning, or not braining as we say in this house. But yeah, this is what I made yesterday, and I thought I would show it to you. Just a simple wreath. This is going to go on my mirror in my hallway when it comes to Christmas. So let's get started with the cards that we are making today. As I said, we're using the stitch stocking set. Comes with some lots of patterned stamps, which we're going to be using today. Some really nice sentiments. So may all your days be merry and bright. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Sending warm wishes this Christmas. So yeah, and these are the cards we're going to be making. I'm also going to be using these, which are the adhesive backed mini Christmas buttons. I will also be using the real red, white and white ribbon, which is rather gorgeous, and I have already gone through 2 of these when I've been making various projects. Yeah, so I've got some cutouts here in case we need them, but I have put my cutouts that we need for them inside the card bases. So these are the cards that I'm going to be showing you how I made them. Very simple, but quite sweet and very effective with some background stamping on it. So yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start with our white one. So let me just grab that. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do our stamping. Let me just grab my bone folder just to make sure everything is nice and flat. So it lays flat for us whilst we're stamping. So I used the snowflakes, don't know whether you can quite see them, the snowflakes stamp, is that a slightly better one, on this one, and I did it red. I'm actually going to use Secret Sea this time. So the colours I'm using for stamping is Real Red and Secret Sea today. I'm just trying to make sure I am in frame so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I hope you were all well, and it's lovely if you have joined me. today to make these cards. I do love it when people comment and watch what I'm doing, so I'm just going to, I'm not spacing this out as much as I did on the red one. I'm going to try and put them as close together as possible, but I am being a little bit random. I'm not making sure they all fit correctly. I think I should have possibly reinked my secret C, but we'll see how we get on. So I'm actually making them a lot closer together so we get this snowflake pattern going all the way around, and I'm also going to go on the bottom here. So it makes this gorgeous pattern, almost like the snowflake paper that comes in the suite. Obviously you can get it separately, so if all you wanted to do was make some cards like this, you could just buy the stamp set and the paper pack, and away you go. You don't need to even add the embellishments. That's what I was looking for, that word. It's finally come to me. Yeah, you don't even need to buy the embellishments if you don't want to. I'm sure lots of us have got so many embellishments and ribbons and things from previous years that we haven't used. So if I was you, I'd be using as much as your stash as possible. Yeah, if you've got embellishments and you've got other papers you can use, you know, go for it. I just realised what I've done. I should have left a little bit of space, but we can grab some white card in a bit to put our sentiment on. So all we need to do now is stick this down. Just have to quickly grab some white, and then we can stamp our sentiment and cut it out, which is something different that I did on the other card. So there we go, that is on. And again, so we're just using the card bases as they come. I'm not doing anything else on them. So I'll grab some white. And let's do our sentiment, which is the Merry Christmas. I am actually going to do it in Secret C. Let's see how we get on. So I think I'm probably stamping out a frame, aren't I? It's not very clever of me, but there we go. Okay, so I am going to quickly just cut around this. And then we're going to just glue it straight onto the card. I am just trimming around it. I mean, as usual, you would take your time more than I am to try and get this as straight as possible and looking lovely. But just for quickness, I'm doing this quite quickly. So yeah, I hope you've been having a good week this week. I've actually taken a week off work this week and it has been lovely. Been able to recharge my batteries a little bit, so that's been very good. It's been helpful. So I go back to work on Monday. Yeah, a little bit more refreshed than I was before my little break. So hopefully I'll be ready to go back on Monday. And then I'm only in for a couple of weeks, but then because we've got a little bit of a holiday booked where we're going with our children and their partners up to Northumberland for a week. So there won't be any videos that week. But yeah, looking forward to having a week with family. Okay, so that is the basic card. What you could do is, if you wanted to, I don't know why I cleaned it, but what you could do is you could just stamp the snowflakes on the back to finish the card off, and then you could also do a little bit of a border going up on the inside, just on one side, and that just again ties everything in. Let's do it the right way around. Ties everything in, having that border at the bottom and then your bit at the back. Oh yeah. Okay, so that is card number 1, all done and dusted. Let's put that out of the way. Let's bring in our card number 2, which is this one. And I'm just wanting to double check which bits I need for that one. Have I got all my bits that I needed for it? I think I have. Yeah, it's that one that I need. Okay, so these are the bits we're going to be using on the card, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be stamping a border round. So if you can see here, we've got a stitched border. The stamp set comes with this stitched stamp, which is rather nice. So I'm going to give that a go going round. It's very difficult to get it straight when you're on camera, but I'll give it a go. So what we're doing is we're stamping round, just ensuring that I've got enough ink on my stamp. So it's just a quick on and off. There we go. Yeah, not the best. So obviously I would be possibly putting a piece of card on the top now and restamping that, but you know what, it's not too bad. I can live with it. I always say to myself, these are handmade cards and people will be grateful with whichever you decide to do. I'm very grateful for cards that they receive, that they're handmade. Okay, so I'm now going to be stamping "May all your days be merry and bright" at the bottom of this card. I'm just going to give that a bit of a wipe. We'll put that to one side for now, and then we're just going to layer our bits and pieces. And we're just going to layer the cutouts just like that, just on an angle. Oh, so for those of you that don't know, I grew up in Northumberland. That's where I'm originally from. I am what we call in the United Kingdom a Geordie, and sometimes you'll be able to hear some of my little bit of my accent coming out. I have lived in the northwest of England in Cheshire for coming up, when did we move in? Coming up 26 years now I've been down here. But yeah, I grew up in the northeast of England, and technically I'm classed as a Geordie. Yeah. So, and I love going back up north because Northumberland is very near where I was born, and I love going back up. And we're actually going to be staying in my hometown, so that'll be rather nice. We have booked a very nice Airbnb, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to be using the adhesive back mini Christmas buttons. Now I used red on this one. I think I might use white, just to change it up a little bit. And as usual, we do it in odd numbers. It just the eye prefers odd numbers. Now let's have a quick look. Do we prefer white or red? I think I actually prefer the red. Be interesting to let you, if you can let me know in the comments whether you prefer that. And what we're going to do is we are getting our stamp back out, because we can do a couple of little rows of stitching just on the back and then on the inside going up. go. Again, just draws it all back in. Now I can give that a good clean. Okay, so second card done. Again, very quick card to make. Okay, so that's card number 2. We're now going to be doing the red one, which is this one here. So yeah, let's do that. We still need our secret C, but we are going to be stamping in red. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my card, and this is where we're going to add a little bit of ribbon. And I think I've lost my little Christmas tree. There he is. Oh, there we go, he's back, my little Christmas tree. So before we do anything else, again, we're going to be doing our stamping. And this one, we're going to be using these sending warm winter wishes as our sentiment. But I'm going to be stamping the background with another stamp which came in the kit. So that's this hatched line one. And again, I'm not going to be worrying about where I'm stamping it too much. The last card I was trying to do it as square on as possible, but I actually prefer it when things are slightly off kilter. So yeah, so we're doing it this way round. Not worrying where we're stamping. It's just to give a little bit of texture on the background.
Someone is at the front door.
Just giving that little bit of texture. And if you heard that noise saying someone is at the front door, it does sound like we've just had a postman delivery. Those of you who've watched my videos before will know that we're very much into home automation, and we have lots of sayings come out. Yeah, so that's our stamping done for that one, and we just need now our secret C, and we're going to stamp that sentiment, which is the sending warm winter wishes. So what I probably should have done was to keep my other stamp out, just making sure we're where I want it to be. I've done it a little bit lower than before, but let's see how well that looks. Okay, and before we do anything else, I am going to grab that one again. I keep missing out doing our middle bits, don't I? So let's grab this now, let's stamp it up. And let's just do a row along the bottom. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just doing a row along the bottom. There we go. And then we'll put one on the back to make sure everything is then joined in. Okay. Perfect. Joined in. What I mean is joined up, linked up. Oh. So let's go. Let's turn it back over, and we need to add our row. I've got to try not to get my hands in the ink. I've been busy all morning doing crafting, so I apologise for the state of my hands. Okay, are we straight? Let's just lift that up. Again, I'm using my green glue because it does give us that little bit of wiggle room. And you know, I certainly do need that wiggle room. It's amazing how many times I do. What we're going to be using to put our ribbon on is the tearing tape. This is great for sticking ribbon on. Am I going to do it at the bottom, or I'm going to put it right on the bottom. Okay. And then tearing tape lives up to its name. You just tear it and it comes off. I am going to use my bone folder just to adhere that to the card, and when I put the ribbon on, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm now just measuring how much ribbon I need. What I'm going to do is, because I can always trim off, I'm going to just cut a little bit extra. I'm not sure where I've put my ribbon scissors, but these will do. And then we're just going to peel off that tearing tape. Let's lift it because that might be easier to do. There we go. All right, okay, so tear and tape, and we're going to then layer our ribbon on across the bottom. And then we're going to just use our broom folder again, just to stick it down. And then we're going to use our scissors just to trim off those bits on the side that we don't need. Okay. And then our last thing for this one is to put our Christmas tree on. So our Christmas tree can sit quite nicely just there. And we can just put some glue on and it will sit just over the top. Okay. There we go. That's our third card done. So again, we have that on the top, we have the little bit of texture, we have the texture in the middle, and then to bring it all together, we have the texture on the back as well. Okay, so we are doing card number 4. So this again is lots of texture with some background. So let's crack on with that one. So we've got our little bits that we need, but again, we are starting with our stamping. I just think I've lost my little sentiment, which I've cut out. It's here, so we're ready to go. Okay, so again, I'm just going to make sure that this is flat for when we're stamping, and we're going to bring in this stamp, which is, I'll show you the thing, it's this one here. So it's going to give us a darker background, and I am going to do it in Secret C. And I'm not worrying about getting it perfectly inked because I like the distressed effect. So I'm just gonna, again, and I'm just doing lots of layers. This one is great for just layering over each other. And then if you wanted to, you could do a stamp on and stamp off. So stamp it and then stamp it again. There's no rules to this, you're just layering your stamp over the top. It's, yeah, again, no rules, it's just to give that texture. And what are we going to do to remember? We're going to remember to do the inside and the back before I put the ink away. Okay, so to do the inside, I'm just swapping it round. Okay, and then you can do a little bit of over stamping. There we go, and then on the very back, we've got our thing. And obviously if you're doing an envelope, you would do your envelopes in pretty much the same. Now we can put our ink away because I don't think we need the ink anymore. And we're just gonna start adding our little bits and pieces. So as I say, this is the simple version of these cards. If you wanted to take them to the next, what's the right word? Can't think of it anyway. If you want to make these stand out a little bit more, what you could do is you could put things onto dimensionals, make them stand up. You could cut these out and leave a little bit of a white border if you wanted to. Yeah. So there's lots of different ways you can make these stand out. You could put an extra layer of paper on, so you could have a white card with a blue background, do your stamping. So again, lots of ways to just add more. It's up to you how you know, if you want to take this to the next level. What you could also do is, if you've got embossing powders, you could emboss your sentiments if you wanted to. Again, these are your cards, you can do what you want with them. Okay, I'm quite happy with how that's laid out. And then we just need our buttons. And let's see, what do the red ones look like? Let's swap them like we did the last time. So let's now have our red up here, down there, and oh, I think I'm going to have to put that one there, but move that one if I can. Just that little bit further out. Okay. So obviously if you had Wink of Stella, you could go around the outside with it. Let me just see, do I have my Wink of Stella near me? I do. And you could also use the white gel pens. With this one, this would be quite a nice one if you to use your white gel pen and just go around the edging to make a stocking effect, you know, stitched effect. So that would be quite nice to do. But yeah, lots of different ways you can use this particular paper and the just the stamps. Obviously, you know, if you are more precise than I am, you could also make sure that when you're stamping, it all joins perfectly. But I know I don't have the patience to stamp as perfectly as that, so I decided that I much prefer the sort of, oh, okay, brain's gone, sorry. The haphazard is what I'm going to use, the word, way of just stamping, because I think you do get a nice effect with it. Yeah, white gel pen works really, really well just to pick up. So this is one extra way you can take it to the next level if you wanted to. What could we do with this one? Let's think. So you could raise these up if you wanted to. Again, if you wanted to, you could do a second layer of stitching, but you don't have to do it in the blue. You could do it in the white, and you can go in between the previous stitching. That just gives a completely different effect. Obviously you could do it with Secret C if you have the Secret C pen, which I do. I do have the ink, the blend, so you could use the blends if you wanted to, but I quite like this. Oh, actually I don't quite like this. I love this gel pen because it writes beautifully. So yeah, you can just lift the normal card by using your white gel pen, and it just gives a different effect. And as I said, what you could do is you could fussy cut round all of your little bits if you wanted to, and just leave a very small white background. There's loads of different things you can do. But I'm very happy with how these cards have turned out. And these would be really good for batch making cards. So if you need a lot of cards, you know, you could cut up both those pieces of paper from the paper pack, from the DSP, and you could make absolutely loads of these cards in a very short period of time, because you could do all your stamping like I showed you, and then do all your gluing and sticking once you've cut everything out. so it's not that onerous to make lots of cards. Okay, so there we have it. We have that one, and then we have this one and this one. You can decide which one you prefer, but as I say, I think I like having that extra white going round. Yeah, just pops it a little bit more, but it does pop just as much with these. And then we have these ones, which is our warm winter wishes one, Merry Christmas, and obviously we've got the different colours as well with those. So I hope you have enjoyed that. And remember, it was from the Stitch stocking set. This is out now. It was a July online exclusive. Yeah, have a play and just enjoy yourself. And if you wanted to go for the dies as well, you've got all the paper you need to make this. There is some glittery paper which is separate, which you can get, which is part, I can't remember whether it's part of the bundle or not, or the suite, but yeah, so you can make yourself something like this for Christmas. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and as always, craft your joy.